Welcome back to now Up West Sports and Hold My Trident. We are switching gears a little bit. We have a really actually kind of a special announcement to make, guys. Unplanned, but we're just going to drop it right now. We are adding a new segment for Washington State University baseball. All of us are, I can't say alum, but I went there. I ended up graduating from another school, but all of us went to Wazoo, and we're excited to branch out and talk about that. But for right now, we are segmenting this for our Hold My Trident podcast. Guys, we've been kind of hitting a rough patch lately. Wanted to kick it over to you guys, get your thoughts and feelings of the last 6. Obviously, the 10 games prior to that were on fire, or I think I should say the 11 games prior to that we were on fire, and now we've kind of hit a little bit of a rough patch. What are your guys' thoughts, where we're at and where we're looking to go?
Gosh, it's not what you wanted, right, Gav? Knowles,
Jeez.
well, we knew they were at least going to be good teams, and we are going to run into tough games. The pitching just wasn't there. I mean, our hitting showed up majority of games, so I was satisfied with that. But losing the series to the Mets, lost. Shout out to my aunt, lost a bet to her. Owed her that one. But you look at overall, I mean, we're 12-6. I think it was 18-9 versus Mets all time. So you got to feel okay about it. But going into the Philly series today, like that was tough to watch, and just see our bullpen get spent too. More pitching issues we're running into. So something to work on. But baseball, there's streaks. You got to work through it.
Yeah, we're hitting that rough patch streak right about now. Knowlesy, what's your thoughts on everything that's just kind of going on currently?
I'm happy it's now and not, mid September. Just, basketball is the best example of, it's a game of runs, and you just want to be the team that has the last run. I think baseball, in a way, I mean, again, you're playing 162 games. I mean, you got to focus. I mean, there's times where you hunker down and it's just kind of a grind. Then there's times where maybe you can kind of let up a little bit. I think right now we're just seeing maybe that lull, just like you said, we've kind of had some issues with, the bullpen, you got Thornton that got hurt. I'm hoping that, this is kind of that wake up call, kind of that reset, and it allows us to kind of move into the rest of the month, and then into September, and then get hot. I mean, you look at the Brewers right now, they're having a historical run right now, but is it too early to have that type of run and potentially you sputter out at the end? So we'll see. I mean, there's definitely things we got to clean up. I mean, you look at the box score and it seems Cal's going to give you potentially a home run and 3 Ks every game. And before that, before the All-Star break, you were thinking maybe he gets you a K and then he gets you a double and a homer. The multiple strikeout games from Cal, it just seems to be it's growing, exceedingly growing. We talked about this during the trade deadline with Suarez. While we love the guy, that's a huge transition. Just any guy transitioning over to onto this side of the state of the country. How is it going to affect him? We're seeing that right now. I hope, again, he's played here, so he's probably, I would say he's got a little bit, like the ride of the bike theory. You kind of, once you get on, you get going, it kind of picks up quickly. So you're hoping that maybe we're going to start seeing that kind of an exponential climb. At least that's the hope. It's just, like today's, I think what I saw probably in the 7th, 8th inning, our 6 through 9 guys all had hits. Our 1 through 4 guys, I think Julio was the only one with a hit. So it's, it's just that, I think it's a perfect storm right now. So I'm hoping that this is just kind of that, all right, get it out of the way, and hopefully we start seeing potentially a slow incremental increase in production from the players that we need to have. And the bullpen, I'm not a wizard, Perry, so you help me on that one.
I think you nailed it too. It's just like, I've had a few buddies reach out and talking Mariners, and it's like, all right, well, our team played slightly below average, and we ran into teams that were playing at their ability or above their ability, like today's Phillies team. So I don't know. It's tough. It's baseball, so I'm not worried about it. And I think too, it's like looking into like September. Last time we went to the playoffs, 2022, we went 17-10 in the final month. So it's not over yet. Definitely not even close. We're still in still tied for first place in wild card, or did we drop? Uh,
Yeah, I think didn't the Red Sox end up losing?
did they end up losing? All right.
But
And that's the other big thing that's never, I think, in recent years has not went our way. Is we've lose 5 and the Astros win 5, or the Yankees win 5, or the Reds wild card teams win 5, and we all of a sudden lose our positioning, or we're just barely holding on. Right now, the teams that we're fighting against are losing too. So it's, thank you to, I think, the Reds, the Cardinals, and the Orioles for putting the Astros at bay, so we're not losing ground here.
yeah, and I did want to. I also wanted to capitalize on this as well. Chad actually brought up a really good point. Well, him and I combined, we're talking about how September has just been kind of an average to subpar month, and you really want to end on a high note. 2022, the Mariners ended up going 17-10, and that's actually pretty good. And it's really good heat and momentum getting into the postseason. And honestly, right now, a 17-10 September not only gets you in the postseason. I think we're looking at a potential with how everybody else is playing. If you are that one team that kind of steps up when no one else is, that's a potential to not just win beyond the division. Like you're now winning the division, and your sights are on getting that number 1 spot. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying you have a chance with how everybody else is playing. We're in a lucky spot with the amount of games that we're losing. Everybody else is in the same boat. Everybody else is kind of following suit. And with that being said, to also capitalize on what Chad and Knowles talked about, I'm not concerned a little bit, worried, not really. There's still a lot of baseball, but you do have to pick it up. It is urgency season. It is time to start, I guess, filling in the holes that you're missing. If your bullpen is sucking, you need to find something else that's going to fill in the back of that bullpen to help alleviate some of that pain, or at least trial by committee, at least, getting in several guys that are in AAA, AA, giving those guys a chance to see if somebody can catch fire. Maybe giving Troy Taylor a look, maybe giving Soren Lau a look, which I think Soren Lau is we all unanimously said, I think Soren Lau is just the one you have to give a look. He is the top dog and in your internal system right now that you can give an opportunity to. So I mean, that's moving forward. I think it's trial by committee. You should try and factor in a few guys, especially after a day like today where there were 6 innings from the bullpen that needed to be 8, and it's going to be a tough week if you don't option someone down. It's going to be a very long week. I did want to touch on another subject as well. I think we're all familiar with this, but I did just want to resurface it. We're talking about Victor Robles and his crazy incident that happened. This was from the game. I mean, this is the whole setup. John Boy, thank you. Shout out to him for putting this video together and everything. But I mean, this was kind of, everything that happened. Bam, gets hit there 5 times this week. He got hit. Yeah, he was showing a little bit of fire earlier this week, and didn't retaliate, didn't do anything. And I'll give my thoughts and then pin it over to you guys. My thoughts on this whole situation are, you shouldn't. I don't care if you're in AAA. I don't care if you're working on stuff. Guys got a rehab assignment, and you hit him 5 times in the same week from the same team. I don't know what he said to you. I don't know what he did to your family to make you hate him this much. But you hit him 5 times in 1 week. Was his retaliation questionable? Yeah, you don't throw the stick. You don't throw a stick and cause that kind of that harm. There's another one, Estes, and that's not the first time Estes hit him. Let's see if we can fast forward to the part where it's a problem. Boom. I think it's right here. Boom. Yeah, you can't do that. Now, I think that's something I will hold accountability to our team. I will hold accountability to the player on our team and not just come off as some crazy fan that just says, F the other team. Our guy needs to be held responsible. There's X amount of games that he's probably going to be suspended for. There might even be a fine involved. But 5 times in 1 week, you have to start taking a look at the other team and seeing how intentional or not intentional this is, because he got hit with all fastballs. The guy's getting hit with all fastballs. What's going on here? Why was it not addressed? And there's your Raisel Iglesias finish. We love that. So yeah, wanted to kick it over to you guys. Thoughts on Victor Robles? Good, bad, ugly. What are your guys' thoughts on Victor Robles in that situation?
A lot of L's on people. One, I think you nailed it. That it should be one. Major League Baseball as a whole, this is a fail. I mean, this is a player. I don't care if he's a single A player or a major league player. You need to protect your assets, and everybody that is on a team is an asset. And when you see this happening, it's a trickle down, because now it's like, okay, you want to hit our guy. Now I'm going to start hitting your guys. Who do you want me to start nailing? Who's your best player? I'm going to, and like you said, these weren't curveballs. These weren't changeups that got away from someone. These are heaters, and these guys do not throw slow. It's not a men's league game, and so at what point and then we see the umps, someone accidentally taps their head and they take that as something one to challenge, and you toss them for that, or someone says something you think it was to you and you toss them for that. So it's like, oh, so this isn't because you're not directly involved or you're not being directly disrespected. It's okay to let this continue. To me, that's a failure on Major League Baseball as the governing body. Again, I think as the teams, again, everyone's out there as they're getting paid to do this. As the opposing team, you need to eventually go, hey, cut it out. Like, you've made your point. We've made our point. And then for Robles, like, dude, you can't do that. Like, you're a professional athlete. You've been doing this long enough. You cannot do. I mean, if you want to talk about somebody else that probably has every right to go throw something at somebody, would be Acuna. I mean, that guy's been getting drilled by the Marlins since as long as I can remember. I've seen him cuss somebody out, but he's never been thrown a baseball apparatus, if you may. Now, I wish I would have liked to have seen where the bat went, and now this is just kind of the guy at the bar talking. Where'd it go? Did he throw it in a vicinity that was nowhere going to hit him, just kind of like throwing like a hey man, like what the heck? Did he try to intentionally do it? I mean, again, you could go down, John Boy could go down that rabbit hole. I'm not going to. But when it comes down to it, I think it's just a failure on multiple levels, and you can blame Robles for, and he brought up stuff about the loss of I think his mom, which is which is terrible. But at the end of the day, you screwed up. He took responsibility for it. He gave contact, which I respect, but he still ultimately said, I should not have done that. I would have loved to have seen Major League Baseball be like, hey, we need to address this better. We need to have our people be more cognizant of that, which, they're never going to, but again, it's Major League Baseball. They're never going to take blame for anything. They're going to talk about realignment, which we'll talk about later. But it sucks. It just sucks all around.
I agree with you. I think it's like two things for me. It's like, one, anybody who's playing in Little League, college down, like, set an example for the person that's younger than you. I mean, like, leave the game better than you played it. The better than it was played before you and all that. Like, right? It's like, you should be showing respect to the game and also setting on a good example. There's a lot of kids in the stand. So I was pretty bummed out because Robles, I feel like, is always that good vibes guy too when you've seen him. So I think it more like caught me off guard. I was like, wait, is that Victor Robles? Like, I didn't think that's something he would do. And then the second thing, I think more importantly, how it affects your team that's playing the major leagues that's counting on you to get called up. Fritz said it the best. Suspension is like Groundhog's Day. It means 6 more weeks of going more. Yeah, I mean, you're affecting that major league team. You're supposed to be an upgrade by next week, and now we have to wait. It means probably going to be a 7-game suspension, at least, at the minimum.
At least.
So
I honestly with that, I'd rather. This is a better of two evils. I'd rather have him just go out there and try and throw haymakers or punches, because throwing a bat, I feel like it's over the top malicious, and that could really come across as
sunflower seeds were great though. I like
sunflower
that.
seeds. That's how you
If he
cap
just
it
did
off.
that, that would have been good.
Yeah, hey, pal, eat these. Give me one of those and call it a day.
Even a helmet would have been a little bit better.
Helmet.
Throwing the helmet down, like I think John Boy even
Yeah.
said that. Like,
Yeah,
that's-
there's definitely, he threw the bat. It is what it is. Again, I am in the point of I hold accountability to my own. I try to look through things through an unbiased pair of lenses, and sometimes it doesn't happen. But this one, yeah, the guy Victor Robles needs to serve some sort of suspension for that act. But I also want to hold accountability to the other team as well. Like, there was something egregious on the other side of this as well. I want that to be addressed. I want that to, come across as, you can't do that. You can't just hit the same guy 5 times in a week, especially just baseball stuff, right? We talk about common sense. Guys on a rehab assignment. What are you doing? I don't know, just rubs me the wrong way. And yes, our guy needs to be held accountable too. But yeah, Fritz, thank you for the comment. You're right. We got 6 more weeks of Dylan Moore. Yeah, curious on what the Luke Raley situation's like. Honestly, and I've said this for probably a couple months now, if you would have kept Rowdy Tellez and kept Samad Taylor up versus Donovan Solano and Dylan Moore, I think you would have had a better season so far. Or I think you would have had better opportunities to win. I'm not saying you're going to sit here and win because Dylan Moore and Solano aren't playing as much, and you're seeing that it's very prevalent. Everybody's talking about it. But had you had those guys as buffer players or backup players, you add more home runs, you add more stolen bases, and I think Samad Taylor gives you that.
One last thing on this too, on the whole Victor Robles thing. It's like, where was the manager the whole time? Like, you have a few jobs: setting lineups, chewing bubblegum, and getting your guys out of trouble. Like, know when you should be stepping in. You see your guy get hit 5 times. After the 3rd time, I'm up. I'm talking. Like, you got to get up in the umpire's grill and make sure he knows. Like, was that happening? Not something I saw, at least from the John Boy replay. Like, did you guys see anything additional other than that one time where he had a swing at it and I think he got hit in the forearm and they called a strike? Outside of that, I didn't see any film of the manager coming out of the dugout and helping out his guys.
I didn't see.
I think you're seeing a lot of what has been discussed of, Dipoto liking a certain type of player. I think he also likes a certain type of staff. I mean, you think about who's coaching our major league team right now, who doesn't really do anything theatrical or anything to kind of, I'm not saying you need to be Aaron Boone, but
give me one Lloyd McClendon. Bring that guy back for something.
Let me know you have a pulse.
I agree. Just more of the teacher than the discipliner.
It's one of those behind the scenes baseball stuff, or just, I guess.
Even Dan would have gotten out there. I don't know. He's
I think Dan would have. I think Dan would have done that. John Russell is the manager. For anybody who's just wondering right now, he re-upped with everything. So to be honest, I don't know too much about John Russell and his extensive background. It is AAA baseball. You probably don't expect to get into a lot of fights. So maybe he was just like, okay, that's another time. But yeah, you would expect after the 5th time we get hit, someone would have his back. Which makes you wonder. Which makes you the other question involved is, did Robles do something to this team? Did he say something so egregious? Did he do an obscene gesture that was just way over the top? Did he do something?
Did he take somebody's mom out on a date or something? I don't know.
Didn't
call her back.
Yeah, didn't even call her back. Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. I don't know. Even if he did something, even if he I don't know, flip somebody off, is that worth 5 HBPs? I don't think so. What do I know, right?
I'd also be curious to know, did the Rainiers, did their pitchers hit anybody else?
Yeah.
Like
I
I,
didn't
feel like
Don't have the
John
full
Boy. I
picture.
think John Boy would have. I feel like he's one that would have been like, okay,
He
was
pulls
there
up the whole scenario.
retaliation? Would there have been a whole thing? And you don't hear like, did any of those pitchers like say, you know what, hey, you need to stop hitting my guy. I'm gonna now start drilling you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, the whole
a
situation
crappy
is
situation.
wild. It's a crappy situation. I agree, and it makes you wonder if over the next 6 weeks, if hopefully if we don't get Dylan Moore, just try out Samad Taylor. We'll see what happens. If it's
Or
not
Rivas.
good or Rivas, I'm a fan of Rivas. I know there's a lot of people in the Mariners community that are, I guess, over him. I don't know why. He's done a good job every time he's up, and he probably provides you with more than what you have on your current bench. Shout out to Mitch Garver, though. He did have 2 home runs over the last week to, kind of help save his name. Actually, might have had 3. But we also wanted to move on to, I guess, kind of the next topic, but also a quick one, just because it was a huge L yesterday. The Little League World Series. One of our star players almost got his ACL taken out at the Little League World Series. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can't pull up that video, and we can talk about that one and everything. But like, man, just what.
I wanted to, as soon as that happened, I'm like, hammer the Mets. It's not meant for us
Yeah.
today.
Hammer the Mets, yeah. Let's see. I think we got it here. We'll pull it up.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like, where did the security guard come from? She was like up there, and then she,
Yeah. Bang!
oh, there she is.
Look out. Oh man, and
Head on a swivel.
poor lady, right? Like you could tell, and I don't mean to be ageist. You could tell she's not younger. She probably just lost footing, and it's a steep hill. Obviously, the kids are having fun on it. But it just sucks because if we would have had a bigger problem because of it, it would have just been another thing that we have to dive into. This was just a quick topic that I wanted to bring up, just to surface it, because obviously the video was kind of hitting on all sides from everything. So I just wanted to kind of quickly bring that up and talk about Julio. And so glad his ACL is doing good, and we're doing fine on that front. But a loss, you lose a Sunday night game, which a year ago we won the Sunday night game against the Mets, and I believe we ended up tatting up Ryan Stanek out of it. So kind of just not the best stand going on right now. But I'll go back to it's going to come down to 2 things for me. It's going to come down to how September really plays out. Can you go above 500 and stay above 500? More so, and that's just to get into postseason. If you want to stay above 500 in September, and I think you got a really good shot at the postseason. But number 2, if you really want to win the division, which you have a chance, you have a very good golden opportunity. You have 3 games left with the Astros, and those are going to be huge. You got to find a way to take 2 out of 3, if not sweep those guys. This is the you don't have too many chips that you get to hold and call your own. Those are 3 that you get to call your own. Those are 3 that you get. You control a little bit of your destiny, even though I think we already hold the year on them. So I'm looking past that. I'm hoping we end up, taking the division and having some sort of a run and building some momentum going into there. I do want to point out one thing. I just saw this on MLB Trade Rumors yesterday. I put it in our group chat. Knowlesy, you probably saw it, but there's somebody making a rehab assignment right now that we're all too familiar with, and that's Yordan Alvarez. He's starting his rehab assignment per MLB Trade Rumors and definitely per more other sources. But I did want to point that out, that you'll probably see him either for our series or for the month of September at some point. Obviously a dangerous hitter back in the lineup, not exactly what you want to hear when you're a couple games back and still fighting for first place. But good news of our own that I wanted to address and get your guys' thoughts on. Does this help us out anymore? Do we push anybody to the bullpen to help alleviate some of that, some of those problems? Bryce Miller making his comeback on Tuesday. What and tomorrow? I'm losing track of days. But what are your guys' thoughts on Bryce Miller coming back? Everything that we've seen in AAA, Are we pumped for him back? Are we a little nervous? And is he going to give us 5 innings? What are you guys' thoughts on Bryce Miller coming back?
Well, I wasn't certain if we were going to get a single inning out of Bryce Miller the rest of the season. So whatever we can get is great. I'm hoping he comes back and he's his dominant self. His last start, he said he was feeling great and that was the best he's felt all year. So you hope that's the Bryce Miller you're going to see here tomorrow. So feeling confident about that. Like, what do we do with the rest of our bullpen? Like, I feel really strongly about. I don't know what you guys think, but giving him Emerson Hancock a look as a setup guy in Tacoma for a couple of days and see how he transitions, because when he was pitching well in the rotation for us, his fastball was 98. 97, 98 consistently. And he had like a little stretch of that where he was dominant for 3 or 4 games. And then he lost his spot eventually to Logan Evans. So I'd like to see if he can get that miles per hour tick back up by going into the bullpen. And because I think there's a serious need there, especially in the back end. What about you,
I
Nelson?
mean, I'm not going to hold my breath with Miller, but I think he made the comment, yeah, it might be good for 3 innings, and it was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, are you not good? So you're hoping that. I didn't think we'd see him again, right? I mean, he went down twice for this. I think one of it was arm, the other one was it leg.
He's had bone spurs both times in his elbow. Is that it? So yeah.
I'm hoping maybe they figured something out, or they figured out a treatment plan that allows him to, I guess mitigate the pain. Or where I get nervous is this, are you getting surgery this off season? Is that going to affect next season? But if you're able to throw and you're effective, great, we'll take you. I'm nervous, in my, time pitching, going from a starting rotation to the bullpen. It's not exactly easy. And so like trying to throw Hancock in that role, I don't think you throw him down in AAA and within 3 weeks he'll be ready to go. I think you could put him as a long reliever. I'd rather see a AAA reliever actually come up and continue to do just that, and that be a reliever. Or potentially, if you're going to bring a starter in, at least bring a veteran, maybe Jonathan Diaz, who has been around. He has relieved in the past. I just think for some of these guys that probably have not done it in a long time, or if not ever, this is not the time to start kind of experimenting. So if you've got someone with experience, let's bring them up. Let's get them in there. If you want to put one of those two as like Logan Evans or Hancock as a long reliever, great. But I'd rather see us do AAA, bring actually a guy who does that role and kind of go from there.
Yeah. I'm kind of with you on that. As I'm with experimenting, especially because your options are just so depleted right now. This was why I gave them a B+ instead of an A- at the trade deadline, is because they were missing probably one more just a veteran arm, right? Like Caleb Ferguson, we love that pick because he wasn't blowing the doors off of everything. He didn't have stats that were through the roof, but he was a veteran arm and he was doing well. So going out and getting another, I really like Griffin Jacks, even though we ended up doing stuff about him, but it didn't need to be anybody like that. It just needed to be a veteran arm that can raise your floor. Chad said it best. You needed to just raise your floor and have somebody that's, different than Vargas, different than maybe Bizzardo. Bizzardo's been kind of good on for the most part and everything. But yeah, it's tough because you're not going to find too many DFA situations now. You might find one that you run into that ends up helping you in the long run, but you're kind of begging for it, right? You have to kind of beg other teams to just kind of let some guys go, or we've seen the Verlander trade to Houston in August when they made that run and everything. William, we'll put this up here and everything. Yeah, Morosi, swing pitcher at the trade deadline, talking about Casey Lawrence. We definitely brought up Casey Lawrence at some point tonight. Soren Lau, that's probably our number one guy. And I think after tonight, you have to go Soren Lau. Like, what other options do you have that are really going to help you out? Somebody has to either get DFA'd or I think you have at least a couple guys that have options. Taylor Saucedo is another name just to kind of throw around. I think he's currently on the big league club. And then Chris Flexen, former Mariner himself. Off the top of my head, I don't remember if his stats were any good, but yeah, I mean your options are very, very, very dwindled. You don't have too many to work with, and you just got to start trying to make it. And I'll go back to that pitch by committee. Find a new arm every other couple of days. As soon as someone has a bad outing, you bring someone else up. If you bring up Soren Lau and he has a good outing and then he has a bad outing, maybe you give him one more, maybe not. Maybe you take him back down, you bring somebody else back up, and you find somebody that just can catch fire and help you through the rest of the summer, I guess.
Yeah,
Did wanna-
you've
Yeah, go ahead.
mentioned like Stroman, and then I was even thinking like Paul Blackburn. Is that somebody you think could make sense? Long relief type swing guy? Because my thought is like, okay, Bryce Miller goes out there, still not healthy. Hancock's your number 5. I mean, that depth is dwindled quickly. So a guy like Paul Blackburn sitting out there, he's his pitch count's up to 98. I think that was his last start he threw in AAA before he got called up and then DFA'd. So he's a guy that's ready to go. He's familiar with the AL West. I don't hate that move. Has his number been great?
Yeah,
Not exceptional.
he former Mariner, if I'm not mistaken. I think we traded him to the A's once upon a time.
Yeah.
This year, yeah, his stats aren't very good. 23 innings. He has north of a 6.5 ERA. 31
He just hasn't
hits.
been. It's a health
Yeah,
issue. I feel like he
it's
pitched
been a
well
little
in
bit of
AAA
that.
before. He pitched well
Yeah,
in
it's
AAA.
been a little bit of that, but just seeing his major league numbers again, the options, there's really not a lot.
Yeah.
Paul Blackburn is a guy that I would at least consider, depending on if we can give him league minimum and he can come in. He's another guy kind of like Marcus Stroman for me. I know he's a little bit older, but is he okay with being a swing guy? And also talking about Williams' comment, talking about Steven Matz. Yeah, and I did notice that Stroman is very adamant about being a starting pitcher. Understandable, but no one wants him. So what are you going to do for the rest of the year? Are you going to try and beg the Marlins or somebody like that to give you a 6th starter position and try and work your way in? As teams those types of teams are starting to work towards their call up days. They're starting to work towards calling guys up and giving guys opportunities. So maybe another week goes by and Stroman's like, all right, you know what? I'll bite the bullet. I'll be a swing guy or long reliever and have a chance to win a World Series. Maybe he has that in him. I don't know. I doubt it, but also you just never know what's going on through somebody's head. Things change from week to week. So you never know. Maybe he takes a step back. But it's at least worth noting on Stroman because he was released like a week ago, and still nothing surfaced with him.
And then he posted a picture on a private jet with his nice Rolex.
So he's loving life.
So honestly, I'm looking at Flexen's stats right now. I think we take a peek at him right now. He's got a WAR. He's got a .4 WAR. He's 5-1 in 22 games with a 3.09 ERA, 43 innings, 22 Ks, a 1.14 WHIP. I mean, I don't know why they released him. I'd take that in a heartbeat.
Doesn't walk guys.
And he's got familiarity. Yeah, and you know what you get from him, right? Like he's not going to gas up the radar. He's not. That's just not his game. It has worked in Seattle. Yeah, especially with your options. I know I've said this at least multiple times, but with your options the way they are, Flexen's probably towards the top of that list of just checking in on pulse check, just seeing what we got. But if you continue with this same bullpen that you have right now and this same rotation and everything, the way it's set up right now, I think you're going to run into problems, more problems than you run into non-problems. Because there's going to be times like right now where your hitters aren't showing up when they need to. Obviously, we ended up with 7 runs, to finish today's game, but that was after, things have already kind of, hit the fan and stuff like that. So, kind of bringing up the rest of the schedule just so we can walk through what that kind of looks like and just see kind of where we're at with everything coming up. obviously we got the rest of the Phillies. We got a 3:45 start tomorrow against the Phillies, and then a 10 a.m. start West Coast time on Wednesday to round out the series. We got an off day on the 21st or Thursday, and then we go back home against the A's. I think this is a series that you need to make a statement back on. This is where you can catch yourself back up with certain guys being injured. Jacob Wilson's out, and with the way it's set up, you got the Padres who are also kind of red hot right now, and then you got the Guardians. So you have this break where you're back home and you could take advantage and hopefully take 2 or 3 or maybe even all 3 from the A's and kind of give it back to them from what they did to you when you were there, when they took 2 out of 3. So this is a series where you have a chance to bite back. You have a chance to actually do something that pushes your momentum in the right direction. And then 3 more following with the Padres. Yeah, am I optimistic about that series? No, but it's at home, and if you come off of a good series against the A's, yeah, you never know. It's baseball. You can actually take the series from the Padres, or find yourself on fire a little bit. And then you got the Guardians, and then we got September that we can look into for the Rays. And the Rays are always going to give you trouble. They're kind of like the former Astros. They're always just gonna give you trouble. And then you got the Braves, the Cardinals, the Angels, the Royals, and then finally towards the end of September, you have a little bit of control of destiny with the Astros. And then it's a flip flop. You got the Astros, who are going to give you a good series, and then you got the Rockies, who really aren't that competitive this year, but we always find a way to lose one of those games. And then the Dodgers, who, with how they're playing, they're probably going to be in it, is my guess, and they're going to be hunting for their own division, and that'll be probably a really tough series to end the year on, in all honesty. The road out. What is your guys' thoughts on that? I guess just kind of, there's ebbs and flows. We got one good series, we got one really tough series, and it's just kind of ebbs and flows for the rest of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I look at the schedule and I just look at Thursday this week. I think the team's excited for a little off day, especially after playing multiple playoff teams in a row. Get a nice reset. Playing an Oakland Athletics team that's playing a lot of new guys right now.
Shout out Oakland.
Yeah, shout out Oakland. Excited for their future, though. I really hope we line up with Luis Morales with the Oakland A's, because I feel like he could be the real deal. But yeah, beyond that, and just looking at those teams, I think I counted 11 more series left, playing 6 playoff teams in those series. So strength of schedule might be tougher. I'd be curious on maybe if we're doing a little bit of like schedule or strength of schedule searching online, but how we match up against Houston. But it's not going to be easy, the road, but I feel like we match up pretty well with a lot of those teams. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a fun stretch to the end of the season and get us into October. What
Yeah,
about you,
Nosy, what
Nelson?
about you?
I'm looking forward to the off day. I mean, you think about this, kind of reminds me right before the All-Star break where we were kind of spinning the wheels a little bit. We had that off day, and it's like, oh God, we just played completely horrendous. Now we're playing the number 1 team in baseball after an off day, and we did nothing but embarrass. We embarrassed the Tigers. I mean, there's no way around that. I mean, we Skubal looked good, decent for 4, and beyond that, I think we scored. I mean, a dozen runs in each 2 of the 3 games. Cal went absolutely off, and then I feel like that kind of got him in a groove. So I think the off day is going to be great. Hopefully we kind of see that reset and they kind of can do what they've been doing. I think, it's tough with this team, right? Like we're sitting there, like I don't want to be all, oh my God, we're going to kill it or don't kill it. Let's just start kind of getting back to what we have been doing. Not the highs and lows. You'll just kind of find that even keel, and hopefully we kind of just keep kind of moving our way up. And come that Astros series, it's we're either ahead, slightly behind, and we make it a hell of a series.
Wanted to throw that out there. Fritz, thank you. Appreciate you.
I saw that. That's good.
Yeah, 54%. And that's what the name of this podcast should have been, the 54 percenters. Missed on it. So yeah, we are back to 54%. Funny enough, 54% on the rest of the way out might actually win you the division.
I think
But
let's, since we're on that topic, I feel like that comment was taken out of context in a way. He was
little bit,
he's just
yeah.
an analytical guy.
yeah,
Now, I'm not saying I love Jerry DePoto, so I don't want people to hear this and be like, "Oh, you just like Jerry." I do like Jerry. I respect his processes and everything, but I think way he describes things is he's just giving you a black and white answer. We find that the teams that have a 54% winning percentage make the playoffs. That's how we should have said it.
yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he went on a long tangent on and just
And if-
really just grind the gears of everybody.
If-
And
if
it
you haven't
just,
noticed-
it just,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying,
Go ahead,
and he should have added, and it just sucks when 10 other teams play 0.55%. It just sucks. It's not normal.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And ever since Justin Hollander's kind of taken over talking, I guess is the best way to put it.
You're doing that now.
Hey, like I got a guy. It's been a whole lot better, and the comments haven't been egregious. And honestly, Justin is very straight to the point. He'll give you, hey, this is where we're at.
He used to be
You
a
don't have to
lawyer.
like it.
I mean, he's talking like a lawyer. He's more, he's not
Here's
going to
where we're
leave
at.
shades
You either like
of
it or you
gray.
don't. There's no shades of gray. There's no areas of there's no areas of just like, really? Did you say that? Okay. All right.
Did you mean that?
Do you want to rebuttal? So yeah, I think we're definitely in a good situation there. And apparently this was just to kind of touch on the draft. I think this was his first full draft and his first full deadline that he's gotten to kind of own and take care of. And yeah, I mean, we ended up with Kate Anderson and a couple other kind of big names, and I'm excited. I'm actually excited to see where this takes off. Let's go ahead and get to a couple comments. Abdouli Gay, however you pronounce your name, looks like he's from Gambia, West Africa.
Nice.
Thank you for stopping by. Really do appreciate it. And then Steph, 15 to 12, 6 times is a 15 and 12, 6 times is a 90 win season. Sorry, I had to space that out and read it. 50 win season, a 90 win season, 15 and 12 stretches seems mediocre. It does seem mediocre. And it's I guess it's the average. When you average everything out, you get 15 and 12, but you'll have stretches where you're 20 and 5, and you'll have stretches where you're 5 and 15. And then you have like the 14 game winning streak that we had in 2022. You'll have like those stretches where you're like, holy smokes, like we're winning the World Series. This is happening. Let's go, boys. And you get it all fired up and everything. And then you go 0 and 10, and then you lose the division like you did last year, where you had a 10 game streak or 10 game lead. Sorry.
The highs and lows of the season. You just got to work through them, right?
Just got to work through them. Steph, I agree as well. I hope we can make the playoffs. I hope that we're set up for success. We haven't been in this situation in August in a while. I think 2022 we were still fighting for that third spot, even though we were kind of doing better at that time. We haven't been in the spot where we're in the first wild card spot, and granted, knock on wood, right? We were 10 games up last year and lost it all pretty quick. So we can also lose it this year. We can also lose all of that, and it can go away. And I can say that because we've had 20 plus years of bad luck. So I'm not bringing any more bad luck than we've already gotten in the past, because there's been so many years where if there was a third wild card in that 2013 to 2018 era, we probably would have made the postseason a couple times there. There's, in my opinion, I don't think there's any bad luck I can speak into existence right now. I think it's more just, the boys have to hold their own, and they have to play better than 500 ball just to make the postseason. But right now you have a really good opportunity, and I know plenty of other people that have said this. If you follow other people, I know like Locked On Mariners has said this, and a couple other guys out there. You have a unique opportunity to run away with the division. You have a unique opportunity to be on top of the division, on top of the world, almost, in a sense. Like, no one expected the Tigers to kind of bust out and be who they are this year. No one really expected the Toronto Blue Jays to bust out and kind of be who they are this year. A lot of this stuff could have been addressed in the offseason. I'm a little disappointed in how they handled the offseason, and that Donovan Solano was your, I guess, surefire answer. And then you ended up, adding Rowdy Tellez there at the end towards, spring training got started and everything. So you added it in season, and I'm okay, not okay. I'm thankful that you did, and I don't want to bring up bad news, but had you have gotten a Gino, had you have gotten guys that are producing at that level in the offseason and had a full year with these guys, especially to gain chemistry, and also not DFA or release Rowdy Tellez, that I don't think that was ever a good option, but they did it anyways for whatever reason. He brought all the vibes and he brought the bombs. You'd be probably in a better spot right now, and have, your trade deadline would have been more so, let's find bullpen pieces and let's go find good bullpen pieces, because you already have 9-10 guys that are at the top of your prospects. So yeah, I don't know. I know I'm bringing up old stuff, but wanted to kick it over to you guys for your thoughts.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm a Vegas guy. I like to look at numbers, and we're still a 91% chance of making the playoffs. So the word hope still isn't in my vocabulary yet when it comes to this team and making the playoffs. I still have strong expectations that we'll continue to play well and play well balanced baseball. And historically over the season, we've been doing that. And we just kind of have our little peaks and valleys here and there. But yeah, still feel fine about things. Not worried. Not worried yet.
And then
Not worried.
Pull this one up. Or yeah, Nosy, what's your thoughts?
Oh, is it? May I speak? Is that okay?
Yes, you can. I'm allowed. It is assigned.
Well, good. Yeah, I Chad's spot on. It's there's enough games. It's not panic. It's kind of like all right, let's reset. Let's kind of get back to what we have really seen us be the norm, which for us has been like, and we talked about this, beginning of the year, of what was the expectation of when we hit the lulls, how do we respond? So to me, I think we've seen, you think about, again, when we had that lull, that day off, and what we did to the Tigers, like that's what I've kind of seen this year to be more of. So let's continue to kind of be that, and not be all right, let's just kind of sputter a little bit more, and then by then we've dug too much of a hole. So I want us to get back to, or hopefully continue to be the team that, okay, we dip a little bit and then we pull ourselves together and we kick ass, and then maybe we do dip again, but we've put ourselves in a position where it's okay to dip. Maybe someone's tired, takes a day off, maybe someone gets hurt. In baseball, it's a long season, so just continuing to stop the bleeding quicker than not.
Yeah. I guess going back to the offseason and stuff, Justin was responsible for the deadline. He covered the Twins, D-backs, and Pirates. Yeah, and that's what I was kind of referencing there as well, is that Justin kind of take full control of a lot of these situations. They say full control, but you never know really what's going on behind the scenes. Is it Justin's influence and Jerry's stamp of approval, or is it, hey, Justin's got it fully?
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of that really was from, I know Justin had talked about it actually, I think it was with 710 ESPN, but a lot of it also came back just the relationships he has with the guys on those teams. So I like it's very methodical how they decide that, and it seems like their trade deadlines are pretty smooth overall, at least hitting on the pieces we need to hit at least. But
yeah,
Gavin, do we lose you? Your mic working?
No, sorry. My wife was walking in the door, and this mic picks up every little thing, so I had to mute it for a second. I apologize. I know it's live, so my apologies. But also wanted to attack this, William. Yeah, I know the ownership kind of handcuffed them, and that's definitely something. I'm not saying it's Jerry's fault. It's just, you saw what happened at the trade deadline, and okay, what had happened? Did somebody give them a couple $1 million, and they're like, all right, like we can do this at the deadline, and they just kind of handcuffed him for the entire year, or for 80 plus games of the year. So they ended up not being in a better position to win. They'd be in a better position right now. In all honesty, if you had Josh Naylor, who was a No, he was not a free agent. But had you had traded for him, or if you could do something like that to get a player of that caliber in the offseason, you'd be in a better spot and you don't have to set up as much. That's kind of all I was getting at yeah, and it's probably ownership's fault. They're handcuffing him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like, I don't know. Yes, I agree. But then also you look at, okay, with the money we did have to spend, what did we use it on? We used it on Garver. We used it on bringing Mitch Haniger back, swapping a contract with Robbie Ray. Donovan Solano was the solution. What else did we spend money on that? What money did we spend that actually brought wins
Yeah.
above average replacement?
Yeah, I think
Rowdy.
if there's anything Jerry could have controlled, it was this team looks like shit. Looks dead as shit. They look like shit too. No, yeah, we were just talking about that sour vanilla. I actually agree. And honestly, from here on out, I just got to see a change of pace and a lot of different stuff. But I wanted to at least put that one up there. But if there's one thing that Jerry can control that ownership probably can't do a whole lot of when it comes to that, is he could have found a suitor for Haniger. He could have found a suitor for Garver. Maybe there was none out there. I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not going to claim that I am, but also maybe you package somebody and you get rid of them and you find a way for you just to free up that money and to non-handcuff yourself and go out and find somebody else. So not 100% on what that scenario looks like, but we are starting to get towards the hour mark, and I know Chad kind of wanted to bring up another topic.
We hinted at it.
If you guys want to have some closing thoughts on that, by all means. Otherwise, I know Chad's got a really cool topic that he wants to bring up.
No, I mean, we saw yesterday or during the Little League game yesterday, Robert Manfred, he was quoted that, yes, we're looking at expansion teams, and yes, we're looking at redivisioning teams. And the one thing, and the way he said it too, is like helping the players out or not taxing the players when it comes to like the travel time. So what's the first team you think of? Seattle Mariners, that seem to fly the most miles out of any Major League Baseball team. The one thing I could think about was Portland baseball team maybe has some legs. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I've talked with Connor on it. And Connor, if you're not following already, Connor Webb, Couch GM, has been very heavy in on this as he lives a little bit closer to Portland. There's already renderings of what a potential stadium would look like. It's down on the waterfront. It's in a good location. There's a lot of steam, a lot of momentum for this to potentially happen. And it makes a lot of sense for a team in Portland and for a team in potentially Nashville. Nashville was one of the other big names, and having a team on the East, team on the West. I know Utah or Salt Lake City's been rumored as well. Portland just makes a lot of sense. I know it's a smaller market, but you are, and this hurts Mariners fans because it's splitting market share. You're losing all your.
Won't stand by it.
He won't be for it, not even a little bit. So my alternative suggestion, not to say that this is the better suggestion, this is just an alternative suggestion potentially, is to put a team in Vancouver, Canada, for a couple of different reasons. First of all, if you guys go to those home games when the Blue Jays are in town, it's ridiculous. It is a sea of the wrong kind of blue. So you put a Vancouver team in there, you're going to get passion. You're going to get those same fans to come down, and that's going to be a huge series, just like it would be with Portland. But that's going to be a huge series. And then the other part, obviously, is adding a second team. We're talking about growing this game of baseball. Adding a second team in Canada, continuing that international bound, I'm a huge fan of. It makes sense logistically. They're right across the border from us. And yeah, it's a team within region that's also going to help the Mariners with the amount of travel that they have. Portland is obviously a great choice. I just wanted to at least throw Vancouver, Canada out there. If you guys caught my interview with Jordan Cowan back at the beginning of the year, I talked to him about his favorite places to play. He brought up playing on the Everett Aqua Sox. They were playing against the Vancouver Canadians. He said every time it was a great they have a great turnout. Granted, it's a minor league stadium that's only 5,000 or 6,000. A lot of stuff has to happen, but he did say that the crowd would, obviously support it, and you see it every time the the Blue Jays come down. So that's my little spiel on that. Nosey, what are your thoughts? Do you like
Chad,
Portland?
you go. Chad, you go. I got
No
nothing.
thoughts. No, yeah. I mean, as far as like a Portland team, like if that makes sense, I I looked it up because I never even thought about Vancouver, and I like that. Um, the Vancouver metropolitan area has a population of about 2.6 million compared to Portland's, which is 2.5 million. So they're relatively the same. So you won't see much of an impact there. But yeah, I mean, I've gone to games like Canucks up north, and they pack a crowd. Like even doing concerts up in Vancouver, I mean, it's a pretty good turnout. So yeah, I don't hate that idea. I just think you look at what's been done, and it seems like there's an actual like ownership group in play in Portland where I haven't heard a thing
Yeah.
from Vancouver.
Oh yeah, I was just throwing out another city that could possibly get the job done. Also, Portland, we're talking beyond urban centers, right? When they put a team in Seattle, you're not just catering to the fans and the population of Seattle. You're talking about the entire state of Washington. And right now, we have the entire state of Washington. We have most of Oregon. We have most of Idaho. The market share, and we have Alaska people that fly down to watch these games because we are the closest team. When you put a team in Oregon, you don't just have Portland. You have the entirety of Oregon. I went to Western Oregon where I played baseball, and there's a lot of young kids there that they only get to one game every couple of years from Salem, Oregon, all the way up to Seattle because it's too far of a drive. So now you have all that community of Salem. You got all the people from Medford, Oregon. You got all the people from Bend, Oregon. Everybody that can make that day trip rather than have it be an overnight trip and just kind of the nuances of just adding a team in Portland. It covers more ground than you think. So yeah, just wanted to kind of capitalize on why Portland would be a good opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I think like where you look at the division and cutting down on flying time, like okay, we add a Portland team, and are we no longer going down to Texas to play the Astros or Rangers? And are we adding a team like the Dodgers than the Giants? Like, what does that look like? I'd be curious.
I feel like
But
it's scheduling. I just feel like the schedule, like also, I think it comes back. I mean, you think about like college football, right? They talked about the distance and all of this stuff. Well, I think they're also hand tied, and also how much money can be spent on a team when you're thinking about an entire sport department. Major League Baseball, you're caring about your own team, right? So it kind of comes down to, well, our team doesn't, has to travel too much. Okay, well, maybe you've got all the money. I mean, I think what was it, a couple of years ago, Mariners came out with the highest revenue out of any team in baseball. Take a little bit of that, make the plane a little more comfortable. But if Major League Baseball really needed to make a change, how about just your scheduling? Make 80% of the games within a certain proximity, and then have a couple that are spurted out, throughout the country. I mean, sure, it is an odd that you look at our division. You've got, you got the Angels. You got what, 2 California, and then you got 2 Texas. Is that a little odd? Sure. I mean, who are you going to swap out? Do you want to swap out Houston for LA, and then or in Arizona for Texas for the Rangers? I mean, I just think it's and so much the realignment can just come down simply to scheduling.
This is I'm just looking at the screen, Gavin.
Here's
Like, what the-
here's one thing that shout out Moonlight, who's also in our group chat. He does phenomenal work as well. He put this little bad boy together and talked about Utah would be the expansion team. So in this scenario that he put Utah, obviously Portland would cover the same ground, but having it in the north, you got Seattle, Portland, Colorado, and then the Athletics, which will be moving down to Vegas not too long from now. In the south, you have Arizona, Texas, Houston, Minnesota. In the east, Kansas City Royals, Chicago Cubs. It's in the Pacific. Yes. Chicago White Sox, and then St. Louis. And then in the west, you have LA Angels, LA Dodgers, San Francisco Giants, San Diego Padres. There is another version of this as well. The other team he ended up putting in was Nashville, and that'd be in the south with Atlanta, Tampa Bay, Miami. and then you got it's now just split up Atlantic and Pacific. The other one I wanted to pull up was this one where it's more hockey style. You have 8 teams in the division, where you got on the Pacific, on the East, you got Minnesota, Chicago, Chicago Cubs, Chicago White Sox, Kansas City Royals, Texas, Houston, Colorado, and St. Louis. And then on the West, you got Seattle, San Francisco Giants, LA Dodgers, LA Angels, San Diego Padres, Las Vegas, and then Arizona and Utah or expansion team. Then over here, where does Nashville fit in? They fit in on the western part of that Atlantic Division, and that's kind of how it shapes up. I just wanted to at least put a graphic up there just to kind of give you a visual on what that looks like, and just how it could be, how it could potentially, be set up.
Yeah, I don't know if the first one, having 4 divisions, like how would that playoff seeding look? Would it just be overall record and the division doesn't even matter? I guess I
Well,
don't
if
know
you
the
have
NBA as well. So
If you have, yeah, it's because if we're doing 12-team playoff, right? Now you got 6 from each side. So that puts it back to 4 division winners and 2 wild card spots. It would move it back to that. And that's what that would look like. But if I'm looking at it from a Mariners perspective, we have a better chance to win the division without the Astros
yeah,
in it.
gladly
So
take an expansion franchise, Colorado, and what was the other one?
I don't know. The last expansion, actually, the last 2 have won more World Series than we have. So I'd be cognizant on that. I would say, because I've seen Vegas being the expansion team and not Utah, I'd say give me Seattle, give me the Vegas expansion team, give me the Oakland, or give me the Athletics, but also give me San Fran.
well, Vegas is the Athletics. That's what that was in reference
Oh,
to.
okay. So
Yeah.
then go Athletics, but San Fran, Colorado, and us. So there's your 4. I think having because that at least proximity wise would be a lot closer.
Yeah. I did want to point out Nashville's 42nd largest urban center city, behind Charlotte. I did want to at least point out, I've lived in Charlotte. I visited Nashville. Charlotte would be great. It's very difficult to find a spot because of where everything's located downtown. You'd have to find something outside of town, and it's just going to be tougher to kind of navigate that kind of where it's at, or the reconstruction is going to cost a lot of money. Nashville is a very big destination spot, and I don't think they would have any problems selling out, even though they are a larger urban center. Baseball down south, it hits a little bit different, especially if you've ever been to a Braves game. They do it. They do it pretty well. You put a team in Nashville, I don't think they'll have any problem selling out a lot of their games. In all honesty, I understand the how large of a city it is. You still got the entire state of Tennessee that would back them. People from Knoxville will go to the games. People from Memphis would obviously go to the games. So I think there's more to it than just how large the size is. It's how demanded is baseball where they're at, and Nashville is definitely a town that was hungry for baseball. Talking to people that live there, they are hungry for baseball of that caliber to step in. We are right around an hour. I wanted to get some closing thoughts of everything that we talked about today. We talked about Victor Robles. We talked about almost an ACL tear from Julio Rodriguez. We talked about the current state of the Mariners, where it could be better, but don't keep your heads down. Try and stay positive. There's light at the end of this tunnel, hopefully, and we are going to take you through it. And then obviously the expansion as well. Guys, any final closing thoughts?
Still 91% chance or better according to Vegas, to make the playoffs. I'd say don't freak out. There's a lot of highs and lows in baseball. There's a reason why there's 162 games. So not nervous yet. I think really where you've seen us get a little bit of jolt or life is coming off of a break. I think that's always been big, or a change to the roster. I could see us maybe making some type of change either on that bench or the back end of the bullpen, trying to find another little piece to the puzzle to make things work come September. Nolsey.
I not much more I can say that you haven't already said. Again, it's not overreacting to where we're at. I think if you look at what we've done this year, when we've had kind of down periods, We seem to kind of pick ourselves up. We seem to be very good at kind of resetting quickly on a day off. And so, have the faith, and let's just, let's see how the rest of this thing ends up.
Yeah, and that's I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of hammer that one home as well. You got two big things to really look out for, and that's just the month of September and how we finish out the regular season, and also the Astro series. I think the Astro series is going to it's a little bit of controlling your own destiny, and hopefully we can find the pieces, whatever the pieces may be, even if it is just keeping the same guys that we have and them just, I don't know, figuring some out of some sort of spark, or just pitching by committee until we find that guy that has that spark. Something's got to give, and you got to find a little momentum to finish this year out. Don't hang your heads just too much. There's light at the end of this tunnel. Again, 90+% of a chance to get in the postseason. Knock on wood, but hey, let's go M's, and just remember, life's too short. Gas up your boys.